Joining us now, Texas Congressman and car dealership owner Roger Williams, along with Michigan Congressman and former automotive supplier John James. Congressman, great to see both of you. Congressman Williams, to you first on this. This is a $250 billion oops.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Dagan, let me say this. I've been a dealer 52 years, still own my car dealerships. This is the biggest ripoff since COVID, the American people. There is no market for electric vehicles. I'm not against them, but I want to be able to have them compete. But they're manufacturers paying people to sell them. They're paying customers to buy them. It's a horrible, horrible situation we're in. And frankly, nobody wants them. And they're making dealers like me pay millions of dollars for charging stations that we'll never use. We'll never get a return on them. The federal government should not build the charging stations. The private sector should. But people don't want electric vehicles. And especially in Texas, you know, if you try to get an electric vehicle to pull a boat, a horse trailer, and a jet ski, you're going nowhere. And so forth. So we don't even have one on my lot. And they came the other day to show my employees how to run the charging station, but they couldn't even find an electric vehicle in Dallas-Fort Worth to show it on. So it's a bad deal, bad for the economy, bad for the people, and we need to let them compete against gas vehicles and not be paid by the government to buy them.
You know, as we heard it from Kelly Saberi from the Chicago Auto Show, they're saying that the demand is being driven not by government, not by the car makers, but by the consumer. That doesn't seem to be the case, at least what we're seeing.
Hey.
But John, I want to get to you on this because $220 billion extra dollars in these EV subsidies. We're already $34 trillion in debt. I imagine that you all said the numbers from the CBO are way too low. It's going to cost our government way more money for these subsidies. Any way Congress can roll these back?
And you know exactly what these subsidies are for. They're to build China's middle class.
Yeah.
Right now, the jobs are flowing out of Michigan's #1 manufacturing district, the 10th congressional district. The nation's #1 manufacturing district, the 10th congressional district, and going to Mexico and China. And that's directly because of these expensive policies. Look, these policies that the Biden administration are putting on the automotive industry is not only going to crater the automotive industry, it's going to hurt American auto workers. The profit sharing that American auto workers have negotiated would absolutely be ripped away from these automotive companies as cost of vehicles go up $900 to $1,000. When you look at the total cost of the industry being $58.6 billion per year, and that is before the EPA and the NHTSA penalties hit the industry, which would hurt the automotive industry and also the workers. You're looking at the increase of cost to Americans to buy their vehicles in already tightly constrained in inflationary times. It's too expensive for Americans. And everybody's talking about the OEMs up and down Van Dyke and Mound Road in Macomb County, but it's also the mom and pop shops up and down Groesbeck and Gratiot in Macomb County. And Representative Williams understands a little bit about this in the Small Business Administration Committee in Congress. This is going to hurt not just dealers, but suppliers all over the country. We need to make sure we hold Biden accountable for his out-of-control regulations that are ballooning our deficit, and we need to make sure we do it now.
Let's move on to the showdown over the migrant crisis, illegal migrant crisis at our southern border that continues. Texas Governor Greg Abbott meeting with a group of state lawmakers earlier today in Eagle Pass. Here is what the governor had to say.
We are dealing with the biggest border crisis since America had borders. Texas will have built more of the Trump border wall than even Trump built in the state of Texas. The president of the United States is not enforcing the laws that are already on the books. He does not need more laws. He has the tools in his toolbox to do exactly what Texas is doing, and that's to deny illegal entry into the country.
Meanwhile, with an uncooperative Congress, Joe Biden says he's considering taking executive action to deter illegal migration at the southern border. Oh, pulling the pin out of his backside that he used to sign the 94 executive orders his first 100 days in office. Congressman Williams, what do you make of the governor's remarks?
Well, I think the governor's exactly right. He's done a great job. And down here in Texas, we're having to do all the things that you talk about because this administration will not do it. The amazing thing about Joe Biden, he says, give me the power. He's got the power. All he's got to do is reinstitute stay in Mexico policy. John knows about that. And that, we've been told by the Border Patrol, if he just did that one thing, would slow crossings down 70%. I've got a bill called the STOP Act that we're running through Congress right now that would simply say, make it a federal law that Texas would have to be paid for all this expense that we've gone out to secure the borders. But Joe Biden doesn't want to do it. Somebody woke him up and said, hey, this is a political thing right now for you. And so he's trying to take charge. But he has the ability to do it. He just does not want to do it. And this is the worst we've ever seen. I was Secretary of State. It's worse today than it's going to be. Tomorrow's going to be worse than it is today. And it's a serious crisis. The most important crisis we've got in our country right now is defending our borders and getting our sovereignty back.
You know, John James, you see the politics inside of Congress, and it appears that Joe Biden is now seeing the polling that most Americans think that the border is a number one issue. And so he's trying to flip it on his head and blame Republicans and now claim he's going to do executive action, where Dagan mentioned he actually did 94 executive actions when he took office to undo Trump's great border security. Is it going to work?
You know, I would say that Biden was gaslighting America and being insanely deceitful if I thought he remembered what he ate for breakfast today. Joe Biden said that he needs more power from Congress when he, just like you said, undid everything that President Trump, to include the Remain in Mexico policy, that made our border much safer to begin with. Look, Michigan is a northern border state, and apprehensions have gone up 500% since Biden has been in office. And when we went to go visit Eagle Pass, we got directly from Customs and Border Patrol that the Remain in Mexico policy would reduce illegal incursions by 70%. And Joe Biden is saying that he doesn't have the authority. Well, we don't need additional legislation to fix this. We need additional leadership from the White House. Right now, Joe Biden is not in control of our borders. The cartels are. And we must make sure that we get H.R. 2 passed. And everyone point fingers at Republicans in the House. We are the only line of defense against the insanity that's going on. Democrats had a trifecta, the White House and both houses in the legislature, and they did nothing for 2 years except call Republicans racist for this. And right now they're pointing their fingers. We absolutely need to pass H.R. 2, and the Senate couldn't get their bill over to us. We already sent H.R. 2 over to the Senate last year, and they're failing to move on it. We need to pass H.R. 2 through the Congress, and Joe Biden, if he's truly serious, needs to sign it into law.
Well, Nancy Pelosi wouldn't take up Biden's amnesty bill because it was amnesty, even for people that Trump had deported, would let them back in. Thank you both. Congressman Roger Williams, Congressman John James. Pleasure, sirs.
Thank you, guys.